So it's time once again for our periodic change up here on the 400 non-tip mule deer quest. We're headed out on Loggers Point today, and we are incorporating what we've done as of late, which is joining competitions and trying to participate in those along the way. Today though, we're only in one competition because it's perfectly up my alley. We need to harvest the highest total of our biggest whitetail buck and our biggest mule deer buck in a singular hunt. That's perfect for what we do here. We're not doing like multiple attempts, so if we can get a decent muley and a decent whitetail, maybe we'll end up top 3. So of all things, starting off with a bobcat here, and I'm glad we set up in this stand. He's coming up under the tower, and actually this was the reason we didn't enter any other competitions. I really like the deer one we're in, but this northern tower here is such a good mule deer spot. I figured it wouldn't hurt, sit here, call the bobcat in, maybe hit the grunt call a couple times, and just, that tree stand's there from trying to do the Summer Fiesta 3 deer in 1 shot mission, by the way, but it worked out pretty good for that. This is taller, so I wanted to take a quick look around. I don't see any deer coming in, so I think we're good to grab our bobcat, and hopefully get into a couple more deer and a few less cats, but drop that one. It was an okay weight up to 20 kilo, he's gonna be 14, won't be anything special, 8.2, but hey, 93 GM just for that, we will take it. Scoop up our collar and away we go. Oh boy, hi. Be lucky if we get a shot at this thing. Can't even see, okay, that was the brain. Whatever. A little alarming, we're 40 minutes into this, we have not had a buck track, we have not had a grunt, anything. As far as the competition's concerned, you know, mule deer are going to be more important because they have the capability of going like 240 plus. Whitetail, if you get an insane one, you know, you're just over 200. So a 160, 170 whitetail and a 220 muley, I wouldn't be surprised if that would win it. But we gotta find a muley and a whitetail for that matter if we want to do that. So we're here at the center tower, same thing as earlier. We're gonna sit here, hit a couple grunts, maybe something wanders in. I mean, if we're here, might as well. It's a decent kind of red fur feral hog. I don't know what the heck direction to try to shoot him from. He's walking right to the base of the tower. If he'll stop again to feed or not. That'll work. No tracking needed. Still no deer, but at least we know that guy's not going to spook and maybe take a deer with him. I mean, I guess that's a positive. Got a whitetail doe stopping right there at 20. Suppose we'll try to get that and then we'll get down out of the tower and continue on. So, important thing was to not single lung her, which is exactly what we did. Maybe she'll lead us towards something, because whatever we've been doing on our own isn't exactly working, but you'll figure we dropped the feral hog and didn't drop the deer. Got him in the brain and the lung. 833, it's a decent one. And now we have a little walking to do. So there's our doe. We finally got a deer. Let's go from there and hopefully get one with a little antler. Took forever to calculate a no score, but we're gonna kind of loop out this way. We're really primarily in whitetail territory now, but if we could get, like I said, even a solid one like a 160, we could pretty well forget whitetail for the rest of this and just focus on muleys. Well, finally a buck, and it's an okay looking mule deer, not a giant, but one that could at least get us somewhere, maybe like a 160, 165. So we'll just kind of keep on scooting down there. There's a bunch of animals around. I saw a coyote out there, there's a feral hog in the way, but we're almost into calling range. I think we just go sit on this edge and call him in. That should keep the other animals out of the way. So he's working his way in. Unfortunately, he is by himself. I was hoping maybe he was a part of a group, but just stopped there at 32. Might go ahead and try to get that. If he starts moving, that would be great, which he did. Just gonna hang a full draw for a second. As long as he doesn't, you know, stop and see us, we'll be good. I'd say by now, yeah, he's 20. There we go, a little better than on the doe. And finally, literally an hour in, we have a buck down. So not the greatest of circumstances, but all it takes is one. You know, one big buck steps out. And as far as the competition goes, we're in good shape. And you never know where that 400 non-tip might be. You don't have to kill a lot of deer. You just gotta kill the right one. So that was lung, liver, stomach, intestine. He's gonna be 160, not bad. And we're still well into whitetail territory, so we might, you know, be able to take down a whitetail and see where we stand as far as the rankings go. So not exactly what I had in mind, but he does have antler on his head, and based on the start, I ain't gonna complain. So if we can get this guy down, we'll at least have a placement. Gotta get that right. There we go. And, I don't know, he's gonna be 56 inches, something like that. That'll put us somewhere in the low 200s. I believe when we started this, something like 370 was first place, so got a long ways to go. That was long liver stomach. He's going to be a little slow on the calculations for whitetail anyway. I don't know if we're going to find out what it'll be, but like I said, he should be right about 55, 56, something like that. It may pop up here in a second that we get like an entry in the competition. Not like we're winning with that, so it doesn't really matter. Well, that's a bummer. I think he's got a sticker too, so he'll score lower than the last. Never did yet get any notification that we placed in that comp, but we tracked this guy for a minute. He was 70 to 95 kilo. Not what I was hoping would be at the end of that trail. That tree looked a whole lot like a big buck coming up over the hill. Not any luck with that so far. But yeah, 50s again, and maybe like, I don't know, 51, 52 because of that little kicker. Let's see if the score actually calculates. Was lung, liver, stomach. That's been our MO today, 55.3. We're in 20th place. It's a rabbit I hear moving around. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. So we got a long ways to go, but like one decent buck and we'd be way better. Got a little everything happening right now. Some coyotes coming in, pheasants just milling around. Even out there, a whole group of does. But the reason we're calling for coyotes is this guy right here has a pretty darn good estimate. He's up to 57, 20 to 30 kilo. I actually hadn't seen this one before. That's actually an okay male, but kind of came closer to the tower than I wanted. I think that'll be fine. Just drop that right on in there. We're doing a whole lot more than just deer hunting today, which I did not expect to be doing, but I will take it. Especially, you know, like, we've hunted loggers enough to know we're not going to kill a ton of deer. It's not going to be Timber Gold-esque in terms of like the numbers we're going to get. So when we get these opportunities and other stuff, we will definitely take them. 24.8 kilo, not bad. Going to be 54.7. Might get a quick trophy shot of that. And I find like, I find coyote trophy shots to be kind of difficult to pull off, but I kind of like that. Shows the Flinter bow good. Look at that little like whisker biscuit with the logo. Got our lucky army camo on. That's the first time I've mentioned that today. Hasn't been extremely lucky for us, but 50, almost 5 scoring coyote is not bad. So where we're at now, kind of heading into the south of the map, we're going to make kind of like a loop down and around, get up into the kind of canyon up here, and from there, like if we don't get into any kind of decent deer, I'm not actually sure what we're going to do. We'll fast travel somewhere, but we're going to try to work our way all the way around up to that point without fast traveling so we have it when we get there. We got another mule deer buck, similar to the last, probably a little lower scoring, but for whatever reason, we just can't seem to make things simple today. That's 30. He's right on the edge of where I think you might hear that. I think, you know what, actually, we're going to go with the 243. Might as well, if we're, you know, so low on bugs today, might as well try to get him. I thought that might hit neck or something. It may end up being a body shot, which with the 243 should kill him. Rain's kind of coming in, but we're not too far off that crater, and late in hunts, I've certainly had, like, you know, groups of muleys, which, by the way, we've not had one of those today, at least not bucks, but I've had deer just kind of congregate down in that area. We're 2+ hours in, so hopefully they're around. I think that, yeah, they're out of hearing range, so we'll see if this guy went down. So luckily, seeing a long shot, he went nowhere. You can see him laying right down there. And like I said, probably, I guess, second biggest muley of the hunt, second muley of the hunt generally. That guy was right long 80 meters, 152. So a couple of okay muley bucks, just not the size we want to get. So hopefully up there, our luck can change. Well, we found another mule deer buck, and you know, he kind of matches the couple of whitetail we've shot. Stopping right there in the reeds, so we're going to be kind of aiming at an outline a little bit. Drop that right on in there. I think that only makes mule deer buck number 3 today, and definitely the lowest scoring, but as we move around, like, it's slow paced. I get the feeling there's something good out here, but the question is, can we actually find it? What I ended up doing, by the way, we checked that canyon, nothing there. So we looped back up and around, and we're kind of going through the same area we did earlier. There were no deer here, whatever, 2 hours ago? Maybe as things have milled around, they'll be in these spots now. Well, it does look like We've got our first group of muleys of the day. A couple of fairly unimpressive bucks. There's an okay one. About like what we've shot already. I don't know if it's just a group of 3. If there's more, they are pretty well hidden, but hopefully, like, that biggest one on the left's kind of out front. If they're going to get in here, hopefully that's the one that gets here first. Playing out pretty much just like we wanted. This buck's into about 30. I think what we might do, because it does look like it's just the 3, if we can get one of the ones in the back with the 243 on the run, we'll probably try to do that. But let's worry about hopefully dropping this guy first. Of course, the 243 is a single shot, so that's going to be tough. Didn't even drop that one, but... Do we hit that? Looks like he's running wounded, so we did. Might even hit him a second time. Well, this will be a fun little track job. We got 2 different ones to follow. Hopefully we can recover them both. Also, somehow, that first bucket was a gut shot. Gonna mark that. And I think, you know, because we hit this other buck twice, and it at least appeared that was the case, he should go down first. He still has not gone down. Did we not hit him both times? I would have thought 2 even... There's that limping... I had never seen that. We've had it twice in the last 2 hunts, I think. Anyway, I really would have thought 2 even, like, poor body hits would have brought him down. That last shot finally does. Finally get a group of bucks, and not a whole lot goes right. That's what the blood is supposed to look like. I'm going to be curious. Was it 2 hits? Yeah, we hit him in the ear, so that probably didn't do a whole lot. Can we see that in the trophy shot screen? 60 inches. Just an absolute stud. Is it right ear, I think? Oh, yeah. Right in along there. It was pretty close to just dropping him. The other shot, I think, was in the leg somewhere. I can't seem to see that one. Anyway, got another buck to go and recover, and I think he'll be bedded by now. Hasn't been super long, but that's a pretty good track we had. Well, there lays, I guess, what was technically the first buck of that group we shot. You can tell me how that's intestines. Stomach intestine on that with shoulder blade, I don't know, but 144 score, and unfortunately, what's going to end up being the last deer and last animal of the hunt. Not a whole lot of anything big here on Loggers Point. A lot of times these hunts where we kill very few bucks, one of them ends up being a giant. No luck with that today. We did get a nice coyote and a pretty cool trophy shot. And, hey, you know, switching it up, trying to do a competition, sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but I still think that extra little thing, like chasing some whitetail, I think the biggest muley we did get today was while we were in whitetail territory. You never know what that's going to lead to. Today it was like a 160. Next time it might be that 400 non-tip. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.